Hey everybody, welcome. I can't believe it's come around again. Q&A Thursday. Welcome Toolkit Masters. It's great to have you here. We're in a different room today. You can tell someone was using my other room, but that's okay. We've got a new room. Listen, welcome. We're going to start off as we normally do with a bit of housekeeping. So first off, if you could let me know that you could see and you can hear me, that would be fantastic. So I'm just checking I've got everything here. So if you can see and hear me, just let me know. That'd be fantastic. And then I won't have to twiddle around with all this techno stuff that I don't know anything about. Okay. So, we've got Janet on the line. Welcome, Janet. Actually, you've got your question today, so welcome. Is there anybody else on the line that we have? Okay, just checking. Okay, some people might join us a bit later on. Fantastic. Great to have you here. All right, Janet, I'm glad you're on the line because you had a great question for us during the week, and we're going to address that question. So hold your seat. We will be right with you. Before we start that, though, I just wanted to say that we've got some stuff to talk about at the end as well. So I've got some bits and pieces that I wanted to catch up with you about. So let's make sure that we get those done. And I'll share my screen with you. So bear with me for about 10 seconds. Be able to see my screen now. Live coaching, 20th of July 2017. Very, very exciting. Okay, so let's have a look at the question that Janet asked us. So Janet, you asked, what are the biggest mistakes I can make as a new leader? So great question. Now, I must say, first-time leaders, and you might have experienced this in your world as well, but first-time leaders can be generally a nightmare to work with, right? Because they feel like they've got so much to prove, and there's lots and lots of things that can trip you up as a first-time leader. So I'm going to cover 4 of the main ones that I've seen my new leaders do, and I've had to coach them around, and then hopefully we'll be able to work on that. So, okay. Now, remember, as a first-time leader, you probably got promoted because of doing non-leadership sort of tasks really well. So you're probably really good at your job, really good at your technical skills, but you've had very little experience in leadership. So I want to share with you the 4 mistakes that will undermine you as a new leader the fastest, okay? So the first one is focusing on tasks instead of people. So before you were a leader, your number one job was to accomplish tasks. You were someone with a big skill set to get stuff done. Maybe it was buying stuff, maybe it was program, maybe it was selling, doesn't matter, but your number one job then was to complete those tasks. Now, your number one job now is to help other people accomplish the tasks in a really outstanding way. Now, yes, you're going to have tasks too. As a leader, you'll probably have weekly reports, budgets, planning, all those sorts of things. But your tasks are secondary to helping people complete their tasks. So your job as a leader is to get the best work from the people that you lead. And the measure of how well you're doing as a leader is how well each individual on your team performs. So ideally, you should be able to show people that, how they can see themselves differently so that they can produce at a higher level than they've ever imagined. So for one person, this might mean that you need to teach them organisation skills. For another person, it could be that you need to discover what's their strengths and then, set them up for doing and utilising those strengths. For somebody else, they might need more time with you. For somebody else, they might need less time with you. So each person wants something, and you need to find out what that is and then help them get it. And then in return, your team will work great for you. And this level of leadership is superior to being task-focused or being task management focused. So helping people to perform at their best impacts the quality of your team's work as opposed to just getting the jobs done as they come up. So really focus on the people instead of the tasks. because this is one of the mistakes that new leaders make. They focus on the tasks instead of the people. We need to flip that around. Okay, so if you've got any questions, just let me know. Just stop at any time, and we'll have a chat about it. Remember, I don't think I mentioned before, if you've got any, oh, good one, Janet, yeah, great. If you've got any more comments, just put them in the area below and I will get onto them. Okay, so that was our first mistake. Our second mistake that lots of new leaders do is they're really being slow in their transition from team member to team leader. So moving into any new position requires you to get rid of that old stuff from your old position. And that means for a new leader, it means you need to delegate. It means getting over the idea that you're indispensable in your old team. You can't do your new job well if you're still doing your old job, right? Now, delegating your old job should only take you a couple of days. You know, you find that people are taking the step up. When they accept pieces of your old job, you give them an explanation of how to do it, and then you tell them where to go to get any, answer any questions. So I know that doesn't sound a lot. I know that you had probably a very complicated job. But if you think of it, if you went off on a early retirement or, got hit by a bus or whatever, your job would be delegated in a couple of days. So it shouldn't be any different to you being able to delegate. You really need to be able to transition very, very quickly. And delegation is not enough, though. You have to stop being obsessive about the projects that you used to do. So if you're no longer on a project because you got this promotion, then you need to stop obsessing about how it's going. You need to let it go, because you're not going to be able to focus in the right areas until you let go of the old ones. You've done your transition, you've done your delegation, your tasks have all been delegated out to other people. Now it's time to move on. They will contact you if they've got a question, and you will also give them other contacts that they can go to. So this is another mistake that new leaders make. They take a really long time to transition over, so therefore they are absolutely worn out, fatigued, extremely exhausted because they're trying to do two jobs at once. So make sure you cut those ties and enable yourself to focus where you need to focus. So the third mistake that new leaders make is forgetting to lead up or manage up, sometimes it's called. So leading up or managing up means steering your team to hit the goals that the people above you really care about. So try and figure out what matters to your boss or your boss's boss. Make that stuff matter to you too, because you can only utilize your leadership skills if you're accomplishing things that the business cares about, right? So this is all about getting the expectation of your boss, finding out what the goals are that are really important and have a priority, and then really getting cracking into those. Now, the other thing that you have to be is be really loud about your accomplishments. So set measurable goals for yourself, and then let other people know that you're meeting them. Let other people know what you and your team are accomplishing. And do this right off the bat. People's perceptions of you as a leader will be made in your very first few actions. So, that saying where people judge you in the first 2 minutes, it's true for leadership as well. So give people the right way to think that you're doing a good job. You are making a difference. You are value adding, and you and your team are starting to kick some goals. Now, if you're not kicking some goals because there's issues there, then be loud about that too. No, we're not being able to kick these goals yet right now because we're setting up the foundations to ensure that we get there. So be loud about that stuff too, so people know what you're doing. It's really, really important to keep that momentum up. Okay, the other one, and the last and the final one that I find that new leaders, the mistake that new leaders make, is they talk more than they listen. Now, I had a leader that had been a leader for a while, and then she accepted a position where she was leading a bigger team, like a triple times the number of people that she'd been leading before. And her first step, now this is a person that had been leading for a while, so she had the experience, right? So her first step was to go on a sort of listening tour of the organisation. So she had lunch with people to find out what matters with them. She sat in on groups. She even visited people at home in the name of figuring out who matters to whom and how she should set up goals for herself. So she did a lot of listening and a lot of being authentic about being curious. So asking lots and lots of questions. So what I want you to consider as a new leader is your own listening tour. So as soon as you start a new position, then don't try and change the world. Don't try and make an impact by, showing that you deserve to be there. You already deserve to be there, otherwise you wouldn't have been promoted. So just ensure that you listen. So honestly, there's no way to figure out what people want without getting them to talk to you and you to listen. So the most annoying thing about any leader, whether they're a new leader or a seasoned leader, is when they just won't shut up and they just keep talking, and they're not seeking to understand. So I think this is probably something that I've seen a lot of and something that is really fixable. You might have some ideas going through your head. You might have some ways where you think that you can do things differently, and that's brilliant. But ultimately, you need to be able to listen for at least the first month that you're there and just hear what's going on, listen to what people are talking to you about, listening to, what's the biggest bugbears, what's the pain points, how can you do things differently if they're a pain point now, what have you tried in the past, all those sorts of questions. Those really seek to understand questions are really important at this point. So I hope that helps, Janet. So you'll have to let me know. You'll have to let me know if there's anything there that comes to mind for you as well. But ultimately, I think that's going to help you if you can just keep those things in mind. Great, thanks. I'm glad it helped. I'm glad it helped, Janet. So I'm going to put you back now. I'm going to get you back and take you off my screen share. Okay, so I hope that helped, Janet. Thank you for coming online and listening to your question live. It's been great to have you here. Now, there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk to you guys about first before we switch off. We have gone live. So I did mention it last week that we were going to go live. We went live on Tuesday. It's just a soft launch. So if you see any ads or if you see any up there, then feel free to like it, feel free to comment, do whatever you like, but it's just a soft launch, so you might see us out there. Also that I wanted to speak to you about was that that second interview that we had, the Expert Secrets interview that we had. It's still being edited. So my videographer is still editing and doing all that sort of stuff. I think he went away with his family for a little while, so there's been a little bit of delay on that, but it will come through. So watch out for that one. It was a brilliant interview. She was fantastic. The third thing I wanted to talk to you about is obviously if you started the program on the 1st of May, then Module 3 would have opened up for you already. So let me know how you're going with that. Go through the Ask at Team Leader Toolkit email and give me any questions that you might have, any thoughts, any insights. Would love to hear them. So make sure that you utilise that, and good luck with Module 3. And just another quick reminder too is remember the tool suite, that you've got all the templates and the resources and the planners and all those sort of downloadable tools. Now we are going to actually transition them into the unlocking portal. So that membership site that you're in, that you get your modules from, there'll be a little tab at the bottom that'll have tools or tool suite, and all the tools will end up in there. So if you see that transition happening, it's okay. It was planned for, all right? So we're not going to have them in two separate places. Okay, and that's about it, I think, for me. So without further ado, I am going to switch off. Unless, Janet, you've got any more, if you've got any further questions, let me know. If there's anything else that you need to ask me, let me know, and I will answer it here and then. If there's anybody else on the line, feel free to ask me any questions. I'll just wait about 10 seconds because I have done this before where somebody asked me a question just as I turned off. So I'll give it just a few seconds just to make sure. Okay, you're all right, Janet. No worries. Fantastic. Okay, so that's it from me today. Thank you so much. I will put the replay of this on the Unlocking portal as well as in the Facebook group. So make sure if you didn't make it today that you watch the replay, because this question might be relevant for you as well. So, and all those little bits of news that I had. And until next week, we will speak again. All right, guys. Thanks very much for coming. Speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye.